This is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and talk about some college football.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Amen. This
Amen.
is time for Change 295. The owner is Michael K. Wilson. We have on the line Gerald Carter, the Oregon fan, as you could tell. And we have a new guest, or we ain't going to say guest, we're going to say family here, Mr. Tayo Correga Jerkins.
Yeah, you
You
know
can
it.
see
Yep.
him as the Oklahoma fan. Wow, what a Saturday of college football. Michael Wilson, aka Pastor Mike Lover. I am so sorry as a FSU supporter. That was one of the most greatest but most despicable games we have ever seen to see Florida State lose that bad. However, there are other three games from Thursday to Saturday next week that we are looking forward to watching. As we continue on this call today, next we can determine fates of certain teams that are vying for these 12 playoff spots. Why do we say 12? Because we need to give every opportunity, whether you are a Buckeye fan like myself, whether you're an Oregon fan, whether you're that team of North Michigan Boo, or if you are any other SEC, Big Ten, Pac-12, ACC team. Next week is so crucial. We look at games that are going to be the catalyst for something special. We look at next week. You give me one moment here. We can look at the games that will define what the playoffs will look like for January 20th. Texas and Michigan, number 4 and number 9. I am looking forward to that at 12 p.m. on
Yep.
September the 7th. Other games, we're looking at, that's for week 2.
As
I'm
we
looking
do.
forward, I'm looking forward to Clemson and Georgia. That's going to be maybe a blowout. However, as that starts at 12 p.m. on ABC, that is going to be interesting. We also can look at other games must see as far as Miami versus Florida at
Mm-hmm.
3:30. Who knows what can happen in that game? Heck,
Penn
we can
State
also look
rivalry.
at and speaking of Penn State, they will play West Virginia on August 31st. Penn State number 8. Can they actually go ahead and look into a possible upset? We have no idea. However, we need to look at as the Buckeyes
Hold
ranked
on.
number 2. What's going on, Carter?
Hey,
You got something to say?
I was about to say, hold on, Penn State, West Virginia. That's a game I got circled. I got 3 games circled. That's Penn State on upset games. They 9-4 last. Penn State can get caught sleeping early. Penn State on upset alert week 1.
Oh, wow. Yes, that's exactly why I brought that game up. That's going to be interesting to see. I am not interested to see, Carter, Ohio State and sorry, Akron. I am sorry, but what in the world are they doing with Ohio State's schedule? If they should not let Akron score a safety, that is my opinion as a Buckeye fan. I'm going to leave it to Tayo and Carter as you take the call here. Those are my 3 must-watch games for next weekend. What are your guys'? Floor is yours.
I gave you the Penn State and West Virginia. I got 2 more. I circled 3 because out of these 3, I'm most intrigued by them because really I got all 3 on upset alert. So Penn State, West Virginia, that's number 1. The second one, Notre Dame, Texas A&M. That's number 2. Now, with that being said, if Notre Dame escaped this one, Texas A&M week 1, they ranked 20th. Notre Dame could go on a run and not have to see nobody again until late in the season. Notre Dame we could be sitting in September and Notre Dame could be 9-0. Like their schedule is set up for major success. They get past Texas A&M. Another one, I even went to the FanDuel. I hit up my bookie and everything. USC, LSU in Vegas on Sunday, opening weekend. USC's win total was slated at 8.5. Put the house on it. They're going to win more than 8.5 games. USC, they have LSU. I believe they play Texas. They got what's the other one? LSU, Texas, not Ohio State, Michigan, and I want to say Penn State. Either or, those are their 4 big games. They could lose all 4 of their big games and still win more than 8.5 games. So USC, the win total comes out at 8.5. You got some money. You a betting man. Put it on it. Them is my 3 big games I'm intrigued by. USC, LSU. I'm taking USC. Notre Dame, Texas A&M. I'm taking Notre Dame, but Texas A&M, I would not be surprised if they win that game. So Notre Dame is on upset watch. Same with the Penn State, West Virginia. I'm taking Penn State to win that game, but they is on severe upset watch against West Virginia.
Hey Carter, your audios, we can make out what you're saying, but it's kind of a little jaded a little bit. But to what you said about West Virginia, I watched the pregame show, FSU versus Georgia Tech, and a lot of the analysts said that they picked West Virginia to win the what conference is it? Is that the Big 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, they picked West Virginia to win the Big 12. That's what I think 3 of the analysts picked. I forgot who it was. I mean, basically, it was the former Alabama coach or whatever. Nick Saban was on there, and then the 2 Ohio State guys or whatever. But yeah, they said that West Virginia is powerful this year. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that talking about number 6 from West Virginia, the quarterback, is pretty raw. But Kansas is raw too. So I don't know. But yeah, you're right about West Virginia, man. They're gonna be good this season, supposedly.
Definitely.
I ain't no supposedly, but the thing is that Penn State, they can still, the crazy part is about this, Penn State can still make the top 12 if they somehow get upset by West Virginia. There are some games on there that teams cannot, and I repeat, cannot afford to screw up. Tayo, what games are you looking at mostly for next weekend?
Oh, well, the most defining game I'm going to be looking for is kind of like a sleeper game. It's kind of going to define the test. Georgia versus Clemson. That's going to be bigger than what a lot of people think, and I think that's going to see kind of where Georgia's at this year, and and so I'm gonna check that game out, and that kind of like is going to gauge how Georgia's going to do starting off the season. And so because like that's going to be like their first big test, because Clemson's been trying to get back to prominence, from what there was in the previous years, so that's going to be an interesting one. So plus it's the opener. And but what's on my mind most, as a Buckeye fan, I'm just two games. Number 1, Ohio State versus Oregon. That's going to be the big test. And then, the big game, that team up north. You know what I mean? We got to beat that team up north this year. You know what I mean? That's like the main thing you got to do. You know what I mean? For Ohio State.
Definitely.
Do you have?
I
do you have
definitely
2 other
agree
games
with
that you're looking for next week?
Georgia.
My bad, Carter. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was
Oh,
just
no,
asking if you
you
had
good.
other.
I was just telling
Yeah, I didn't know.
him I agree with the Georgia Clemson game. I think Clemson going to win, but I definitely think Georgia going. Clemson going to show up. My fault. I believe Georgia is going to win,
Yeah,
but I
but Clemson gonna
definitely
show up.
believe Clemson is going to show up. Like it won't be uh like Ohio State Akron or Oregon
Right.
Idaho game.
Mhm.
They'll make it interesting for at least a half.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right. So looking now, it's funny you mentioned Ohio State and Oregon, and we've been talking about how Oregon can scare Ohio State. Actually, have been favored to win the game at uh, hosting Ohio State. If there's any other game that you look forward to, is Oregon versus Ohio State. Just thinking randomly as a Buckeye fan, Tayo as well, even though he likes Oklahoma as well, second team, if I'm not mistaken. How would you look at Ryan Day's job when it comes to that one game? Do you think he
Yeah,
has to win that
that's the
game to
hot
keep his
seat.
job?
That's the must-win game. That's the
Yes.
must-win game. And um, on Ohio State side, that's the must-win game. Plus you got Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly's going to be looking to win that game. And on Oregon side, it's kind of like it's going to be like they gotta win because to prove that they're the top team in the conference. Oregon is basically coming in as the new people in the conference, but they're basically coming in to make a statement. What I mean, that they could be considered in top contention for national championship. So that's going to be a big one right there. And so with Ryan Day already worked for Chip Kelly back in the day, all the way back since New Hampshire days. You know what I mean, when he was a player in New Hampshire and Chip Kelly was the coach. So that kind of dynamic will probably be a good dynamic together because they'll have more fluidity with the coaching style.
Yep.
Now, the one thing I do worry about Chip Kelly is that when a lot of people, Oregon fans, know this. They have problems with Chip Kelly's play calling because how aggressive his style is. You know what I mean? How he does on his special plays. You know what I mean? And so that's going to be an
He's
interesting
never
dynamic.
wrong.
Right. And then that's going to be interesting dynamic seeing that, it kind of brings like a new wave, um, new wave to Ohio State. So kind of add depth to the chart too also.
Yes.
So they just got to have a balance between the two different styles. So it's going to be kind of like a mix up. It's going to be like a mixture of different styles of ball play. So that's going to be interesting.
I I agree with everything you said, except for I think it's more of a must win for Oregon rather than Ohio State for the simple fact Dan Lanning don't have a signature win at Oregon just yet. So he hasn't won that big game. You know what I mean? Like his biggest game to date would be last year. I want to say at Utah because nobody goes into Utah and beat Utah.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they didn't have Cam Rising and they didn't have their star tight end. So, you know what I mean? That's kind of, it don't hold enough weight. And then the next win, you got to say, well, they beat Oregon State when Oregon State was a top 10 team. Well, they was 11, so top 15 team. And they beat them handedly, you know what I mean, 31-7. But, again, Oregon State finished the regular season. They lost the next 3 games after that, and they finished the season 10-4, or I think 9-4. I don't think they got the 10 wins, and they barely finished the top 25. So it don't hold weight. And then the 2 big ones that we had, we dropped at Washington. So Dan Lanning needs that statement win, and he could do it at Ohio State, and he just got to have it. Ryan Day could lose that game. Either or could lose that game and be fine. But if Dan Lanning wants to take that next step and show that he's here, this is what I'm building with Oregon, this is where we're headed, this is the direction, you know what I mean? He's got to get this win, and we're at home. Now, the the one for Ryan Day is the Michigan. If he don't beat Michigan this year,
Right.
I don't know if they go as far as firing him, because you can't fire a guy who's won 90% of their games. You know what I mean? But if
Right.
he loses to Michigan, he is definitely in trouble.
And look at the
Right.
and I'm glad you brought that up, Carter, because look at the talent that Ohio State had. Man, look at the talent
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State had last year with Kyle McCord and basically not a new receiving core, but come on, man, Kyle McCord, come on, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all
especially
I have
with
to
this
say.
talent. If he loses with this talent, there's no excuse.
Right.
Yeah,
hmm
there's
We
no
got like
excuse.
eight quarterbacks that's good. Aaron Nolan too.
Yes.
I can't wait to see Aaron Nolan. Like, I was like,
And don't be
man,
surprised. Hey, Tyler, don't be surprised if they start him. Do not be surprised if they start him. Mike,
that
how
would
do
be
you?
lit.
Hey, Mike, I know you. We haven't got your input here, so would you like to share anything about the three games
Yeah.
you're most likely to see?
Well, first off, whatever, for Carter, I have a question and this is not like a gotcha question or nothing like that. I just, since you're a Pac-12 specialist and decades of history. The FSU quarterback, man, he came from Oregon State. What you know about him? DJU or whatever. He's like 6'5" he's the starting quarterback for FSU. He transferred to
Yeah,
Florida State.
yeah. He is, to me, he has the potential, but he's not uh he don't take chances. He's not aggressive. You know what I mean? And you can't coach that. Like, he ain't a gamer. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
okay.
Florida State was as bad as Jameis Winston off the field was, and his goofiness, and he's not quite making it in the NFL. Jameis Winston at Florida State was a gamer.
Right.
Gamer. You know what I mean? And they're not going to get that, you know what I mean, overnight. And a gamer is hard to find. So I'm not asking DJ to be Jameis Winston, but he doesn't even have a 3% of the aggression Jameis Winston had. He's too timid, and that's because he was at Clemson and it didn't work out, and then he went to Oregon State and he built his stock back up, but that was within the system. Now Norvell is at Florida State, and he handed the keys over to DJ, but their offense is supposed to be based off the run. Like, that's what their strong suit is supposed to be, the run. But yesterday it wasn't working out, so you needed DJ to take some shots, and he's just not that guy.
So basically,
He's not.
I mean, they look at the fact that he's 6'5" and that he's 6'5" or whatever. He should be able to.
Yeah, he should be slinging that thing.
So I
He
mean,
can see over the offensive line easily. Like, he should be slinging that thing. He's just he don't take chances. He's not aggressive.
okay. So basically, uh, I mean, is he a pro prospect, or is he gonna be like a backup in the pros? Is he even gonna make it to the pros?
I would, depending on how the rest of the year goes and what they do from this loss, and how he responds, because the season is no way near over. He could work his way to being a guy that's a play away from being a starter. You know what I mean? Like a true ready backup. You know
So
what I mean? He can get to that position where you're comfortable. Like, if I get injured and he's behind me, you're comfortable. Like, oh yeah, we good. We got
okay,
bruh DJ coming off the bench.
so it's his ceiling. It's his ceiling like a Kirk Cousins from Michigan State, or your guy from who's that guy? Dak from the Cowboys. Is he kind of like a guy like that?
Yeah, he's definitely more of a Dak.
Prescott, okay.
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
definitely more of a Dak. And DJ doesn't use his legs as much as I don't want to say as he should, but well, yeah, as he should, because he get in situations where he can just, do 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 do. But he stays and he keeps looking downfield, but then he doesn't throw the pass. Like his eyes stay downfield, and I
Yeah, that's what
applaud
they
him
said.
for it.
That's
But
what they
he doesn't let it go.
that's what they said in the game. Like they kept like the commentators said, like they were kind of saying, well, he has this guy open. He should have hit the guy at that play, but he didn't
Yeah,
throw it. Like he just held the ball too long and he didn't throw it to the
yeah,
guy in the middle of the field. So he missed an opportunity.
yeah. He gotta let
Uh,
that thing go.
he
He
kind
gotta
of
let it
looks
fly.
he kind of looks like a guy that, like you said, he takes 5 steps forward, but then he takes 2 steps backwards. It's like he hurts himself
Yeah,
physically.
yeah.
So I just wanted to kind of,
And another.
yeah, I just wanted to kind of ask you
Go
because
ahead.
he came from Oregon State, but Tayo's if we're talking pro level, Tayo's a Cowboy fan and you're a Cowboy fan. I know you said you're looking for a different team, so I don't know if you picked your new team yet or whatever, but you guys have got a lot in common, man. You and Tayo, you guys are both
Yeah.
Cowboy fans or whatever. So
Heck yeah.
but yeah, to get my input on the whole situation on Saturday, August the 31st, this is how I look at everything. And Tayo knows because I've known Tayo, 20 years, 15, 20 years, and I've known Aaron, same thing. Basically, the way how I do it, I break it up into four. So 12 o'clock hour, 3 o'clock hour, 6, 7 o'clock hour, and late night. So I'm gonna go real quick. I'm gonna try to wing this. I got the everything pulled up on my phone. So basically, because it's the first game, the first week, I like to basically watch the team at the beginning and then watch their development come um Halloween surprise, like around that time, like in October. So I kind of like to watch how they started and then I try to follow up like around October because at that point you see, what I'm saying, you really see what it is at that point or whatever. So basically, if we're talking about Saturday, obviously at the 12 o'clock hour, I got circled Clemson versus Georgia. To me, that's gonna be the main game or whatever. And I may even go to the bar about this, or I may just go live or whatever and actually do a live stream about this on Saturday. But definitely going to be watching the Clemson versus Georgia. Um, I'm gonna be flirting with Penn State because, like I said, Penn State number 8 against West Virginia. We talked about that. West Virginia is unranked, but they have a lot of hype coming into the season. So I'm gonna be flipping to Fox. I'm starting on ABC. I'm gonna go to Fox. Iowa's in the top 25. So Iowa's on the Big Ten network at 12. I'm a peak, so I'm gonna be going from Penn State to Iowa, and then as Aaron and I talked about on the video yesterday, um, Maryland has Tua's brother still. He's a senior, I believe. So he stayed all 4 years. So I'm gonna see how Maryland looks. I was telling Aaron yesterday when we did the Big Ten video. Maryland is people sleep on Maryland. You know what I'm saying? Like Maryland is actually a team that can get you if you're not paying attention. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna peek to see what Tua's brother is doing or whatever. And then I'm gonna watch. I'm not gonna watch Louisville. Not gonna watch Purdue. Purdue's a Big Ten team. I'm not gonna watch Navy. I'm watching Tennessee. So I'm gonna be flirting, even though they ain't got really no competition. I want to kind of see what the storyline is with Tennessee because they're ranked 15 or whatever. So at the 12 o'clock hour, those are my games. Clemson, Georgia, Penn State, West Virginia, Iowa, Maryland, and Tennessee. But the main game is going to be on Georgia. So at the 3 o'clock hour, I'm gonna slide down, and obviously we got a big thing in Florida going on. Miami, and every year Miami, and like I said, we did a video uh picking our playoff teams, like the 12 teams that possibly might make the playoff. I wanted to put Miami in that situation, but they just, I don't know, man. They just flop every time. Like they just another team. They take 10 steps forward and then they take 5 steps backwards during the season. They always blow
It's
two.
Mario Cristobal. It's
So
Cristobal.
you
He's a
guys,
horrible in-game coach.
He used to be the coach of Oregon, didn't he?
Yeah, he's horrible. In-game
Oh
coach.
yeah. And then that's how Ohio State beat them a couple times because you just made knucklehead and yeah. No comment there.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
And in Florida, you know what I'm saying? They're not even in the top 25. So I'm gonna see, because a lot of those guys know each other, you know what I'm saying, in-state high school football. So a lot of guys between, all the teams in Florida, they all
Yeah.
know each other. So that's gonna be an interesting game. So at the 3 o'clock hour, that's gonna be the main game I'm gonna watch, obviously. Um, and it's gonna be in Gainesville. So I'm gonna call up my friend in Gainesville and kind of get the scoop. May do a phone interview about that situation. I'm gonna watch Texas because like I was telling Aaron, like Texas is they're now in the SEC and they've had Georgia. I mean, they've had Alabama. Like when Alabama was on top, they played Alabama to the last second every time. So Texas is ranked number 4. So I'm gonna be kind of flipping. I might even just watch the Texas just to kind of see what the whole outline is for them this season, and then flip back to the Miami game. But those are the two games at the 3 o'clock hour. Going to the 7 o'clock hour, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock hour. I'm gonna watch Ole Miss. They're number 6. So they're a team. They're not really consistent, but some years they have a really good season. So I'm gonna see what they're doing. Um, Kansas, this girl I met through social media, she claims that the quarterback for Kansas is her cousin. She's got it on her Facebook page. I shared the video. I shared the status on my Facebook page. So her cousin's number 6, I guess the star quarterback for Kansas. So I'm gonna see what Kansas is talking about. And of course I'm gonna go watch Oregon, even though they ain't got no competition going on with that. Then obviously you guys talked about it, the Notre Dame versus Texas A&M. I'm definitely gonna watch that game, and I'm gonna peek at Michigan to see what Michigan's got going on. I'm gonna watch. I'm really gonna watch Michigan. I might just honestly, I'm probably gonna make the Michigan game my main game that I watch because I want to see their run game, comparing to what Ohio State's got going on. I want to kind of look at that. So those are my games at the 7 o'clock hour. So I think the Michigan game's gonna be my main game, and I'm just gonna kind of flip in between all those other games. And um, hold on, I think Missouri is playing. I think also sometime. I thought Missouri. No, that's earlier in the week, I think. But as far as the 10 o'clock hour, I'm gonna peek at Arizona. They're ranked number 21, and then I'm gonna watch. If I could stay up, I'm gonna watch Washington and see, like what. Obviously, Washington's not ranked this year, but I'm gonna see, since they're in the Big Ten, obviously, I'm gonna see if there's any possibility that they're gonna do something this season. But that's everything um for Saturday. So it's gonna, like I said, man, this is like one of my favorite time of the year, you know what I mean? College football opening and everything like that. So those are my games for Saturday.
all right, cool. All right, so while we got a few minutes left here, I do want to conclude, with the game from Florida State. Just a side note, Man, your boy only rushed 6 times for 7 yards, and that's DJU. He gonna
Oh,
have to do better than that. Yeah, that was bad.
fun fact about DJU. His little brother plays defensive end for Oregon.
Yep, there you go. That's gonna be oof, man. It's one thing about siblings that they want to be the rivals and one is competitive against any type of sibling. But imagine if somehow Florida State and Oregon meet, what kind of sibling rivalry that will be. So that's and then think about Oregon, Carter. Your team is fast. Ohio State can't stop any mobile quarterbacks or fast players. That's what scares me about this game. Just a side note. We'll talk more about that later. All right. So while we have a little bit of time, how would you, real quickly, what are your predictions? I'm going to predict Penn State over West Virginia. Spread will be 3. For my games, Texas and Michigan. No, that's next week. I'm looking at Clemson and Oregon. I'm looking at a 7-point spread, Georgia and Clemson, excuse me. And also I'm looking at Miami and Florida. I give Miami a 3-point win over that. All right, what are you guys' thoughts?
I agree. I like it. You took Penn State. And hold on. What was the other ones?
Florida and Miami.
All right, I'm taking Miami just because Florida's not going to be shit this.
Yeah, they lost their quarterback. Yeah, they won't be. And then also Georgia and Clemson.
Yeah, I'm taking Georgia. They'll keep it close for a while, but Georgia pull away after halftime.
High scoring game. Yep.
And I'm only taking Penn State because there's no team out there more that benefits from the expansion than Penn State. Like, just think about all the years Penn State was right outside of it. If they just added 3 more teams to the college playoffs, Penn State would have been in 5 or 6. We back. Where I left off I was saying the team that benefits the most from the 12-team playoff, or you could add 4 teams if you like. It doesn't matter how many, is Penn State. Penn State would have been in, we started this, what was the first inaugural playoff? Was it 14, 15?
14.
14, 15. Penn State would have been in almost every single one had they expanded it years ago. Penn State would probably, I want to say it was 6. They would have been in the playoffs 6 times, maybe 7. They would have the most out of anybody. So I feel like Penn State benefits the most from this. And as long as they handle business, West Virginia, they'll be in.
Yep, I agree.
Now we look at that 14-team playoff. That is a lot of teams. I mean, we even looking at the NBA where they did the play-in tournament. It could possibly happen with college football. There's so many good teams. And another thing is a team shouldn't be punished for losing 1 game.
Right.
Or losing 2 games. Why should they be punished even if it's the last second game? Last year, Ohio State lost to Michigan by 1 touchdown, and they got punished, and they fell all the way to 6.
Well, hold on.
You guys have to understand.
I disagree. I disagree with they shouldn't be punished for losing 1 game because I love the parity that college football created. That it was just it's just in college, period. Like that's how it is in basketball with March Madness. It's any given Sunday. You got 1 game. I don't care if you're the number 1 seed. I don't care if this team is Bishop Sycamore Academy.
Right.
If they beat you, you go home. And college football, why it didn't have that win or go home atmosphere, you couldn't mess up during the regular season. You lose a game, you like, this could come back to bite me when the rankings come out. Like, I might not make it in over this one game. Although I've won every single game after this one game could come in and bite me. Now, with the 12-team expansion, although it diminishes the light on that to where you got cushion. You got cushion to lose games. It still matters. All those games, even if you lose, it still matters because now it's how will they evaluate that loss? How will I look against other teams who may have good wins, but my loss is better than their goodest win? You know what I mean? So while it took the parity out of it, it also added more intrigue to how the commission is going to judge games. So I guess at first I didn't like it, but I do miss the you lose and you're done.
Yeah, but that does signify the one and done. You are indeed the best team far out. You're two teams playing to be the best in college football.
That's
And that's
the
how,
reason.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's how it was back in the day.
The main reason why I hated the one and done was because you never got the two best teams. Hence, Oregon was snubbed in 2001 with the rankings. They ranked us second, although we should have been number one. They ranked us second because we had a loss on our record. And then they had it was Miami and Nebraska. They sent Nebraska to the national championship, and they sent Oregon to play Colorado. And Nebraska was 3. But since they was undefeated, they sent Nebraska, and they sent the undefeated Miami. And we was number 2, but we didn't get to go play for a title. They sent us to play Colorado. And we spanked Colorado like 45-17.
Yeah, it was like
and in
unfair.
the early 2000s, that was unheard of. That was like beating a team 70-0. 45-17 was crazy beat down in the 2000s.
Yeah, that's an unfair advantage. That's unfair to put them two teams. You know they're gonna get tore up. That's what I didn't like about that.
Yeah, we should have been playing. We should have been playing Sean Taylor and them. The same Miami team Ohio State played. All them guys. Oregon and Joey Harrington should have been playing them 2001 for a national title.
Instead, Ohio State got in because they were undefeated.
No. Nebraska got in because they was undefeated.
Aaron,
this is 2001. I'm thinking 2002.
Yeah, you're talking about
2002. Okay.
But your Tyler, you want to bring us home, Tyler? You got anything you want to get off your chest about this week 1 in college football or anything in general?
Well, I think it's going to be really interesting to see, what Ohio State has done to kind of like, change the flow and the process. And I'm looking forward to seeing Ohio State get the ball to Smith, and I want to see Aaron Nolan get some reps, but I want to see like them balance the power between the quarterbacks, kind of like a way like, Nick Saban just retired. And so I think like they kind of going to take some plays out of Nick Saban's playbook and kind of just balance the quarterbacks out. So it's going to be, you're going to look at like 2 to 3 different quarterbacks all playing. I think what Ryan Day's trying to do, he's trying to play all the quarterbacks, and Chip Kelly's gonna have like some special plays up his sleeve. So that's gonna be real nice to see. Our defense gonna be on point. So it's going to be really good. I can't wait for it to get started. It's finally here. and I'm just glad to see it.
It's gonna
All
be
right,
fun
I
to
appreciate
watch.
that, Tayo. But yeah, for me, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I feel like I'm pregnant right now. You know what I mean? I'm about to give birth on Saturday. You know what I mean? Like I'm pregnant with a bunch of small footballs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
like like I told Aaron yesterday, Carter, you probably don't know, but I'm more of a basketball person or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm more into basketball, but it's just something about
It's
college.
because you suck at predicting football scores. That's why.
Right. Come on, man. Hey, you know what? I'm glad you said that. Like eventually, man, we're gonna get a Facebook. I gotta find out what the password is, but we're gonna put a Facebook link to this channel. So we're
Uh-huh.
gonna have a Facebook where, we're gonna just have
Yeah.
everybody, add on to it, and then everybody can put their, what
Yeah.
they want to put on there, like a type of Wikipedia. But the thing is like I like this time of the year, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it just, watching the guys compete for their future. A lot of guys are fighting for their future, and guys want to,
Right.
go to the next level. So I like to watch, guys go after it. Once guys get in the pros, they got lazy and they got the money or whatever. But when guys are in college, a lot of guys are, competing, and we live for the upset, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
the American story is like the underdog story, you know what I'm saying? So we're all looking for. We got one upset so far. I mean, a lot of people in the ACC won't really probably look at it as an upset because Georgia Tech has had Florida State's number before, but that was the first. And I watched the morning show. I mean, I watched the pregame show for that game, Florida State versus Georgia Tech. Even Nick Saban predicted Florida State to win. Everybody besides the guy from Ireland. And that's why I told you guys, if you have the playback, man, to go watch if you can go back that far to watch or you could look at it on YouTube, whatever. But it was only one guy that said Georgia Tech is going to win. He goes for the underdog, whatever. But everybody had picked FSU. So, this is college football, man. We want to see the little guy win, and we want to see good games, whatever. So, I can't wait. I'm really excited. And like I said, this channel started off on college football, and I'm trying to keep true to that. And we're probably gonna go live uh, on Saturday during each game, whatever, or as many games as possible. But we got a lot of stuff in store for you guys out there in YouTube land, Facebook land, and on the internet. So that's all I really gotta say about this. But on the record, I'm a Ohio State supporter. I'm a part-time right now FSU supporter. Not because they lost, but just some
Mm-hmm.
things I kind of didn't agree on a couple years ago that I'm gonna talk more about. But I'm an Ohio State supporter, and I just like to see a good game, man. I feel like Saturdays is the only day you get to yourself where you could just, you know, the world can just leave you alone or whatever. You know what I mean? Like Saturday, the world can just leave me alone, and it unites a brotherhood. So or guys come together for college football or whatever, and then obviously Sundays too. So, but yeah, that's all I really gotta say in closing. So, Aaron, you can go ahead and wrap us up, man.
All right. Well, guys, enjoy the games next weekend, and let's see how the predictions come out, and let's see who has it correctly. Let's see who does it right. So I
Go
appreciate you
Duck.
guys, Mike,
Go Bucks.
Carter, go Bucks,
Go Ducks.
Tayo.
Quack
We
quack.
appreciate you coming. Hey, we're gonna make some duck soup, man. Let's
Go
go ahead and make
Bucks.
this duck soup.
Barbecue.
Some
Barbecue.
barbecue duck. No, some what's it called? Peking duck. We're gonna make some
Quack
Peking
quack.
duck.
Quack quack.
Oh man. And then Mike,
Oh, it's
like I
going
said,
good.
prayers to the Seminoles, man. But hey, it ain't over yet until it's over, like Lenny Kravitz said. So all right.
Man,
Appreciate you guys. And this is another time for a change. 295. Michael K. Wilson, Tayo, Carter, myself, Arion. Appreciate you guys.
for sure.
All right.